Good morning. My name is Steve Wiedemann, and this is the daily SEO Hangout. Not sure if we're going to do this every day, but we're going to do our best to try to do this as frequently as possible. The subject, of course, is SEO, or search engine optimization. And we're going to try to start inviting some people that have years of experience and have case studies to share and strategies and techniques, and we'll kind of see where it goes. So again, this is Steve Wiedemann. I'm in La Mirada, California. I've had about 12, maybe 13 years of search now, working with some pretty exciting companies, both in the corporate world as an employee, as well as a consultant and a strategist for franchises and brands and that sort of thing. I think one of the most important things as we start getting into search is to really think about the principles of search. You know, those unbreakable and binding rules of how one business, one page goes from non-existent to the first page of search. And you know, I've always believed in three specific principles, and those are making sure that you have content that's relevant to what the user is searching for. So when somebody searches for baseball mitt, for example, you've got a page on baseball mitt that best answers what they were looking for, both in price, both in features, how the page works, etc., etc. Just making sure that that page is absolutely relevant to what they were looking for. And getting even into more detail, for example, if it's male versus female or pink versus whatever, you know, having that specific content to what the user is looking for is, you know, instrumental, I think, long term. Second is your page's visibility and your brand, your entity's authority in search. And that's earned, of course, through how other websites link to yours, and Googlebot and Bingbot, and hopefully the old Yahoo Slurp will come back here in 2015. As they crawl through those links, those hopefully from authoritative pages that have links to themselves, and they get to your content, the more that occurs, of course, that plays into your authority and your popularity, both at the domain level of your domain, as well as the individual pages and how popular those pages are, not from random pages, but from pages that are also, you know, popular or relevant, or both. And then the last one is user behavior. So you perform a search and you make a decision. You've got 10 results, or you can go to page 2, which nobody ever does. So you get to the first page and you're like, what should I click on? You look at the different listings, you see the ads, you're like, well, those are ads. But Google and other people think that these are better results since they're organic and they're natural. So you're going to look at those 10 results. You may choose the top one. You know, there's lots of statistics around, you know, who chooses the top result. My data shows that about somewhere between 14 and 18%, you know, will click on that first result. And you know, there's other data that says up to 42%, but you know, I manage about 84 million URLs, so I have pretty good confidence in mine. Anyway, so people look at the first page and they'll make a decision. Who am I going to click on? The listing that gets clicked on the most frequently, taking into account the position, right? So Google, obviously the first guy is always going to get the most clicks. So Google weighs that in, and other search engines, I'm sure, do something similar. They weigh that in to the score, the click score. So if a majority of people are clicking on other listings, you know, 2 and 3 and 4 down the list, there's a signal there that tells the search engine that listing appeared to be more relevant to the user. And that particular score counts if the user stays on the page. However, because Google is tracking your IP and where you're coming from, they know who you are, if you return back to the search result and choose a different listing, then it sort of reverses that signal. Hey, this might have been a good result, but the user didn't find what they were looking for, ultimately came back and chose a different listing. So that is behavior that we've seen in running experiments and click-through rates of you know, what could at the end of the day be the ultimate qualifier of where you rank in search. So it's one, it's relevancy. 2, it is popularity, authority, and then 3, it is the user behavior, what actually happens in search. And there's things that we can do strategically and through some you know, proven techniques to really try to maximize how we're performing across all 3 of those you know, fundamental principles of search. So today I've got a few minutes, so I thought I would talk a little bit about strategy. I think having a strategy is instrumental. The strategy isn't, you know, let's go and shove a bunch of keywords on a page and, you know, wait for Google to think that we're a better result. It's really about experimenting and testing and planning. There's 4 fundamental audits that you should be running as you start any search engine optimization campaign. Number one is going to be an obstacle analysis. Where are the opportunities? Where are the problems? Where are the issues? Going through a comprehensive list, and you can download SEO checklists from anywhere in the world, right? We've got one ourselves too. It's what is it? What do we call it? Digital marketing checkup. So it's a digitalmarketingcheckup.com. It's just a one-pager that has a list. It's free of all the different things that you could be doing for search. There's a pro version that has videos and other stuff, but if you're savvy enough, you can figure most of it out on your own with that free list. Digital marketing checkup. Second is really doing a competitive baseline analysis. Where are you right now? Look at different metrics. Look at, Moz.com has lots of great criteria. You can look at Moz rank and Moz trust and things like that. Looking at, and it sounds silly, but Alexa score, right? It's a controversial metric that is based on toolbar input from users who've installed Alexa toolbar. There's webpagetest.org. There is Google speed test. There is archive.org, and looking at the age of a domain. If you're hitting all three of those criteria that we talked about a minute ago better than the competition, then it's very possible that the reason that the competition is still ranking is they have years of history, that user behavior signal, the click through and so forth, years and years and years of that. So creating that baseline, here's where we are right now. Here's how many quality links are pointing to our competitor sites versus ours. Here's how many social metrics. Social doesn't really play as much into rank as it does visibility and co-occurrence and so forth. So really kind of keeping an eye on what type of activities are we doing to promote our content that may end up resulting in links. So keeping track of those metrics and creating that baseline is very important. A third audit that's going to be important to your business is going to be a link analysis report. And that is looking at all of the inbound links that are pointing to your website. And there's a ton of tools you can use for that. We like to use ahrefs.com, ahrefs.com. There's also Majestic SEO. There's Open Site Explorer, again by the Moz folks. There's a lot of different tools that you can use to really gauge where your links are coming from, and then maybe take your top 10 direct competitors. Don't take an Amazon or whatever. Take somebody who only does what you do, your direct competitor, and do exactly the same exercise. But take all of those direct competitors and aggregate the data so that you understand a frequency of where the competition seems to be getting most of their links. So we're going to find some really low-hanging fruit and some very relevant destinations around your industry. Take that report and remove the links that you've already earned, and you've got yourself a competitive link opportunity report. It's a great way to really understand kind of where those best links are going to come from, so that you can start the relationship phase of really trying to get that same visibility. The next, as part of that link analysis too, is really thinking about your industry, your topic, influencers, really coming up with a list of everything online that relates to what you do and putting them into a separate little list. Like, this is a list of all the experts. This is a list of all the book authors on this topic. Here's a list of all the magazines and online magazines. Here's the online news sites that all relate to my particular industry. Really putting that list together so that later on, we can organize, sort, prioritize, and hopefully start, procuring those opportunities. The last report, and probably the most important, is really going to be your keyword discovery. And this is the most challenging part of search, is really doing keyword research, and every SEO has a different way of doing it. There are some pretty amazing tools that we like to use when doing keyword research, and we really like to do it more at the category or page level or topic level than to just kind of get a broad idea of here's all the keywords a site is receiving traffic from. So we'll look at an individual category on an e-commerce site, for example, and then compare it up to ours. And we'll look at, again, 4 to 5 competitors, maybe even up to 10 if you're in a niche industry, real niche industry, to really understand which search terms are driving traffic to your site. And again, there's a lot of tools for that as well. semrush.com, also called SEMrush. We like Bright Edge. We can pop a URL right into Bright Edge if you have an account with them and see all those great keywords. A really great way to put some data together, understand the frequency and relevancy keywords, and hopefully build your SEO campaign at a page level rather than at a high level. And then there's going to be some broader opportunities around what your business does, not necessarily the individual categories, products, and so forth. And then that's your audit. So you've got your obstacle analysis, you've got your competitive analysis, you've got your link analysis, and your keyword discovery. I think those are instrumental. Once you put those audits together, you should come up with some really good creative strategies. Our favorites include coming up with some really amazing link baits, right? Something that we create on the website that everybody will share and link to. And a quick query in Google for web design that goes to hell, you'll find this article by the Oatmeal. And it is this funny, amazing article that's been shared hundreds of thousands of times. It's a comic. It's actually no text on the page at all, just a comic. But it's earned so much visibility because it relates so well to web designers that have to work with very micromanaging clients. So anyway, kind of an interesting thing to think about. So the other thing you could look at is where are going to be some of the more trustworthy links and how you earn those from perhaps educational or government-related websites. You don't really want to go too crazy with that, because if you have sort of an unusual mix of links pointing to your website compared to the competition, it could raise a flag with search engines. So I think it's important, if you are going to go that path, that you do find the most relevant opportunities on those colleges. So going back to our baseball example, you know, if there's a way that you can sponsor a baseball team at a college, or if you can donate supplies and so forth, and in exchange for doing so, you get a mention. And if the mention gets a link back to you, great. Either way, your name's going to be mentioned on an authoritative domain, which, you know, could ultimately end up in your name becoming semantic to the search term and vice versa. Other things that you can do with your search strategy is come up with what you want to do with video and social. With video, creating an ongoing campaign around specific search terms that people are looking for, but maybe even integrating some fun stuff into the campaign. Thinking about Old Spice Guy or Aura Brush, some of these other campaigns that have done really well. And then put all that stuff together, get a Gantt chart assembled when you're going to start working on each of those individual tasks. I would say the first 90 days is really going to be focused on the technology tasks, you know, such as cleaning up your sitemaps and cleaning up your website, killing 404 errors, getting your content up to par. First 90 days is really going to be really around your website. After that, you can get into some of those more creative strategies like the link bait and like the video and social and other content marketing approach. And that's kind of how we think about search in general. Since nobody else jumped into this call today, I think I'm going to wrap it up, and we'll maybe tomorrow, if we have the opportunity, we'll get more people into the conversation, and we'll talk through other search. So this is Steve Wiedemann. Thank you for hanging out with me if you're watching this later on, and hopefully we'll see you tomorrow or the next time we do the Google Hangout. If we do them, we're going to try to shoot for 8:30 Pacific time. You know, obviously you've got my Google Plus, so hopefully you can sign up here, and we'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.